gotta love outrage culture. What's happening, film friends? Dave the Film Junkie here. Jesus. You gotta love it. Gotta freaking love it. And it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse, guys. We have to be better. We have to be better than this, because it's just, I might start a whole new segment called Outrage Culture Week or something like that. At the end of the week, just round up a bunch of things that everybody's pissed about that they shouldn't be pissed about. There was like a whole thing with a Black Panther button earlier that was faked, but everybody believed it because everybody just sees something on their timeline and immediately reacts, like knee-jerk. And these websites know it. These journalists, who aren't really journalists when they're doing this, know this, and they're totally playing you for a fool. And the main thing I'm talking about right now is the whole thing about, you saw so many, Mark Wahlberg made $1.5 million. There's Michelle Williams only made $80 a day. She only made 1% of what Mark Wahlberg made on all the money in the world, reshoots, than Mark Wahlberg made, because, all that, the whole thing about the wage gap and, oh yeah, men get paid. I always still resort back to Passengers with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. I always resort back to that because Chris Pratt made, I think, about $6 million less than Jennifer Lawrence, and she was in less of the movie, and he had to carry that whole first act by himself. But you'll never hear that. But but when it comes to this, Jennifer Lawrence was a hotter actor, obviously, and her representation said, hey, we want more, and they got her more. And I don't think Chris Pratt even gave a shit. But I was just saying, I always resort back to that. When I found that out, I was going, well, that's interesting. You'd think that somebody would talk about that, but it never gets talked about. But this right here is absolutely stupid. And now Mark Wahlberg is looking like an asshole, and everything's looking like an asshole. And basically what's going on here. and I'm glad that a lot of people and a lot of sites, we're actually going, oh, well, wait a minute, this is not what it looks like. But of course, there's always those same sites that want to keep that narrative of men getting paid more and blah, blah, blah. They want to keep that, and this looks absolutely just horrendous. So of course, this was going to get clicks. And I saw so many people just outraged without even doing just a little bit of research, just a tiny bit of research. It's not hard. We have information at our fingertips lightning fast. Basically what happened was, in Michelle Williams' contract, as well as a lot of other people's contract that were involved in this movie, reshoots were already in the contract. And that happens with a lot of movies. When they sign a contract, sometimes it says, hey, there might be reshoots and you have to do them. You're not going to get paid extra. But I guess Mark Wahlberg, because he's a businessman. You got to realize Mark Wahlberg is a businessman. He does a lot of stuff. He has his own workout protein powders and workout gear and blah, blah, blah. Not to mention the Wahlburger thing with his brothers. He is a businessman. He's a brand. He is definitely a brand. So I think with him and his representation, they didn't have that in there. And since they had to reshoot to totally eliminate Kevin Spacey and get Christopher Plummer in there, it was mentioned that, that everybody else that was involved didn't get paid extra, or they got paid the minimum, whatever it is, was like $80 a day. Michelle Williams is one of them. But Mark Wahlberg renegotiated, and him and his representation renegotiated to get $1.5 million extra. I'm sorry, but the man loves money. People love money. That's smart. If you want to call him a greedy bastard, that's fine. That's your thing right there. I just say hey, sorry, the guy negotiated for more. That's just what happens. But that's what happened with all that. It was basically already in Williams' contract that she had to do reshoots, and it wasn't going to be anything extra. And some people were like, oh yeah, but they're represented by the same people. Yeah, so what? The same, where these agents come from, the same company, yes, but they don't have the same agents, I don't think. So it's not Mark Wahlberg, so it's not anybody's fault. We've got to be better than this. We really got to be better than this, because it just seems like it's almost like every day I see something and I'm going, well, that doesn't seem right. To me, that doesn't seem right. Let's wait and let's investigate a little bit before we start getting upset. But people don't do that nowadays. It's all knee-jerk reactions, and it's getting tiring, and it's getting stupid. And now there's people that are being made to look like pieces of shit when they didn't do anything wrong. And it's ridiculous. And, of course, this will be forgotten about by the weekend because people are stupid. And that's what's so... And if you made the mistake by getting outraged, cop to it, please. Okay? Don't say anything. Just be like, okay, I was wrong. That's another thing that we won't do because, there's this big form of narcissism that we've created, especially with online and social media, and it's ridiculous. Cop to it. Just do it. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts about it down below. Let me know your thoughts about all this. What do you think? And hit that like, thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the other channel too. Follow me in the social media stuff floating above my head. And of course, I got shirts and stickers available. Go get them. Talk to you later.